My sister mocked my age and the fact that I was still unmarried in front of everyone, while my family joined in the laughter instead of stopping her. I kept my secret hidden until the right moment came. Then, when I revealed the truth, the shock on everyone's faces was something they never expected. 42 and still single? Emma, are you waiting for someone to come rescue you? My sister Rachel said it while everyone was sitting around my parents' kitchen table. The Thanksgiving dinner plates were still there. The candles on the table were burning. My aunt was pouring herself more coffee. And everyone laughed. My mother laughed too. That was the part one remembered. Not Rachel's words. Not even the embarrassment. My mother laughing like it was harmless. I looked around the table. My father. My cousins. My aunt. Everyone was smiling. I just put my fork down. Because they had no idea that the woman they were making fun of had been quietly building a life they could never imagine. My name is Emma Carter. I'm 42 years old and I live in Columbus, Ohio. I work as a senior project manager for a technology company. I own my home. I have a stable career. I travel when I want to. I have friends who know me for who I am. But to my family I was always just Emma. The older daughter who was still single. The one they thought needed advice. The one they thought had something missing. My younger sister Rachel was always different. She was 38 years old, married and had 2 children. She was the person everyone noticed when she entered a room. She loved attention. And my parents loved giving it to her. That Thanksgiving started like every other family gathering. My mother, Linda, was in the kitchen making desserts. My father, Michael, was sitting in his usual chair watching football. Rachel arrived 40 minutes late, wearing a designer sweater and carrying a bottle of expensive wine. She walked in like everyone had been waiting for her. Sorry, traffic was crazy, she said. My mother immediately hugged her. You look beautiful. Rachel smiled. I know. I barely had time to get ready. I smiled politely. That was Rachel. Everything was a performance. During dinner the conversation moved from work to family updates. Then my Aunt Karen asked the question she always asked. So Emma, any special someone? I knew where this was going. I smiled. No. I'm focusing on work right now. Rachel laughed. Still. Everyone looked at her. She continued. I'm sorry, but Emma, you can't hide behind work forever. I put my glass down. Hide. He shrugged. You know what I mean. No, actually I don't. She leaned back. I just think at your age you should have figured things out. My mother interrupted. Rachel, don't be mean. But she was smiling when she said it. That made the words feel different. Rachel continued. I'm just being honest. I mean, Emma has everything except someone to share it with. My cousin laughed. Maybe she's too picky. Rachel smiled. Exactly. I looked at my family. Nobody stopped it. Nobody said, that's enough. My father just kept eating. That hurt more than Rachel's joke. I stood up. I'm going to get some air. Rachel looked confused. Emma, don't be dramatic. I looked at her. I'm not. I walked outside. The cold air felt better than sitting there. A few minutes later my mother came outside. Are you upset? I looked at her. Did you really come outside to ask me that? She sighed. Rachel was joking. No, Mom. She wasn't. She didn't mean anything by it. I nodded. That's what everyone says. My mother crossed her arms. You know, sometimes you take things too seriously. I looked at her. Maybe because nobody takes me seriously. She didn't answer. That night I went home early. I didn't argue. I didn't make a scene. I just left. But something changed after that. Because I finally stopped waiting for my family to see me. Growing up, Rachel was always the favorite. Not officially. Nobody ever said it. But everyone knew. When Rachel got accepted into college, my parents threw her a huge party. When I got accepted, my mother said, "That's great, Emma. We knew you could do it." When Rachel bought her first car, my father helped her. When I bought mine, he said, "You're independent. You don't need help." When Rachel went through a breakup, my mother stayed on the phone with her every night. When I struggled after my first job loss, my mother said, "You're strong. You'll figure it out." For years, I thought being called strong was a compliment. Then I realized it was often an excuse. It meant nobody had to show up for me. A few weeks after Thanksgiving, Rachel sent me a message. "Are you still upset about dinner?" I stared at my phone. I replied, I'm not upset about one joke. A minute later she answered. Then what? I typed. I'm tired of being the person everyone thinks they can talk about. She replied. You're too sensitive. I put my phone down. That was Rachel's answer to everything. Something hurt me, I was sensitive. If I defended myself, I was difficult. If I stayed quiet, everything was fine. Then something happened that nobody expected. 3 months after Thanksgiving, my father called me. His voice sounded different. Emma, can we talk? I was sitting at my kitchen table. Sure. What's wrong? He was quiet. Then he said, we need some advice. I immediately knew something was wrong. About what? The family business. My father owned a small construction company. I had helped him organize finances and systems for years. Even though nobody talked about it, I was the person who fixed problems. What happened? He sighed. Rachel made some mistakes. I froze. What kind of mistakes? Another silence. Then he said, financial mistakes. A week later I learned the truth. Rachel had been managing parts of my father's company. For 2 years she had made poor decisions and hidden losses. Almost $100,000. My father had been trying to fix everything quietly. My mother knew. Rachel knew. Everyone knew. Except me. The same family who laughed about my life had been depending on my skills behind the scenes. The same sister who called me lonely had been asking my father to call me for help. I didn't feel angry. I felt tired. Because suddenly everything made sense. They didn't see me as someone incomplete. They saw me as someone useful. My father asked, can you help us? I was quiet. Then I said, do you remember Thanksgiving? He paused. Emma. No. Answer me. Silence. Do you remember what Rachel said? She was joking. I laughed softly. Interesting. When she needed help, she was serious. When she hurt me, she was joking. My father didn't respond. I told him I needed time. But I already knew my answer. I helped them one last time. Not because they deserved it. Because I wanted to protect the employees who depended on the company. I spent 3 weeks reviewing documents. I found mistakes. I created a recovery plan. I saved the company. But I didn't save Rachel. After everything was stable, I asked for one family meeting. Everyone came. My mother. My father. We sat in the living room. Rachel looked annoyed. Why are we here? I looked at her. Because we need to talk about what happened. She rolled her eyes. If this is about Thanksgiving. It is. The room became quiet. I opened my folder. Rachel, you spent months making fun of my life. She crossed her arms. And you thought being married made you better than me. She looked away. I never said that. You didn't have to. I placed the documents on the table. Because while you were judging my life, I was fixing yours. Nobody spoke. My mother looked down. Rachel picked up the papers. What is this? The financial reports. The mistakes you made. The problems you hid. Her face changed. Emma. No. I stopped her. For years, everyone told me I was missing something because I wasn't married. I looked around the room. But the truth is, I was the person everyone depended on when things fell apart. My father whispered. Emma, that's not fair. I looked at him. Neither was being laughed at by my own family. Rachel started crying. I didn't know you felt that way. I looked at her. That's the problem. Nobody knew. Because nobody ever asked. After that day things changed. My father apologized. My mother apologized too. Rachel called me a few weeks later. He sounded different. I was jealous of you. I stayed quiet. She continued. You always seemed like you didn't need anyone. I thought that meant you were happier than me. I said, I didn't need someone to complete me, Rachel. She didn't answer. Today I'm still single. And I'm still happy. My life didn't become better because I proved something to my family. It became better because I stopped allowing their opinions to define me. The same people who laughed at my life eventually came to me because they needed my strength. And the truth they never expected was simple. The woman they thought was behind everyone else was the one holding everything together all along. If this story connected with you and showed the importance of respect, self-worth, and standing strong, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing for more emotional stories. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Your support means a lot to us and we truly appreciate you being here and sharing this journey with us.